And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host of the South Florida Business Today show, and we're getting ready to start our favorite segment, which is Art Talk with Susana Baker. And you're listening to your favorite radio Wall Street Network station. Wall Street, folks. A lot of people listen.
Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
She caught my phone. I paused, I looked at her to the right, and then she keyed right in like a professional that she is. Hello, Susana.
It's a great day again. I'm so
It's
excited.
always a great day sitting next to you. How about that?
I'm telling you. And I love the weather, though. Last night, I was without power.
Did you sleep like a champ with that rain, though? That's the best time to
I
get some
love
sleep.
it, but
Oh.
I have to tell you, I have all these wonderful things I bought last summer. Get ready for any of these surge lights out, and not one of them worked. So my key is check your batteries to your flashlights.
Oh, well, you should have called me. We are battery. My fiance, she's Japanese, and we not only have 1,000 batteries. Some people like to play with those old mechanical stuffs anyway. Pick pictures, photographs. They can't help themselves, you know. But we have a flashlight in every room with the backup chargers, batteries. It's like I'm going back to the World War II again.
I thought I was under control until I realized that I should have checked. Anyway, with that said, lights are back on. Lights are on in the studio. We have a lovely lady in front of me who is a powerhouse in the community of art and empowering her visions that she has brought to the Bass Museum in Miami Beach has been phenomenal. And with that said, good morning, Silvia Karman Cubina. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm delighted to be here.
It is so great to have you, and let me tell you, you have been an inspiration. You definitely have raised the bar when it comes to your curatorial achievements. I mean, this young lady that you see in front of me is congratulations on being picked recently as the advisory committee in the arts for the James L. Knight Center. You're part of that committee.
Well, thank you.
And I thought that was pretty exciting. They do so many wonderful things.
Well, I see the name Hugo Boss. That always gets me excited.
Well, you know, that was one of the beginnings. She was a juror for Hugo Boss for Guggenheim Museum in 2006. And then in 2007, she was a finalist for the Walter Hopps Curatorial Achievement Award. She also sits in one of the boards. I'm not sure if you still are, but you could definitely bring us up to date with the Center of Curatorial Fellowship.
I was on one of their seminars, but I'm actually on the board of the American Association of Museum Directors, which is a group of museum directors, about 130 museum directors of all United States, Mexico, and Canada. So that's quite fun.
That's really great. Now, how often do you meet, and what do what do you do in these committees? From behind the scenes for us to hear, because it's exciting.
The organization deals with the larger issues in the field. So it's exciting to be discussing what are the general issues in the field and how maybe legislature, for example, all about the budgets, how the tax cuts were going to affect charitable giving. That was a big topic. So we get together and talk about that and talk to people in Washington about that and see how that will affect museums specifically. So that's just one of the many things. And there are, of course, other things like art issues and issues in the profession, which are not as technical as that one.
Now, you talking about cutbacks and budgets, and which we've all felt, all of us, especially the cultural institutions. The Bass for a while was hurting also in some of its collections and exhibition, and you really brought that museum into wonderful exhibitions. You constantly are bringing new things to the Bass Museum, creating new art programs, art cams. And one of the things I also admire is that you also seek out to the young art collector, to the young art enthusiast, knowing how the beach is and the demographics, your beats on Friday night. Can you tell some of our viewers and listeners what they can expect from the Bass, its new and current exhibition?
Sure. Going back to the topic about budgets, I think that of course, you need a budget to have an exhibition, but it's no excuse. You can have good exhibitions on all budgets. So it's about inventive, and we have so much talent in this community that we can always pick people's brains and see, what's going on, and call our colleagues that are not in this community and really present thought-provoking exhibitions, and exhibitions that are fun too. That's important, I think, for the young, but also for the not so young. and also for the really, really young, because we have art camp for 4-year-olds. So it really is about all sorts of age ranges. But I think what's fun and what's visually stimulating and what's intellectually appetizing, it really can spread lots of ages. I really do.
The description that the appetite, wow, tremendous. You want to be on radio also because you're depicting. I mean, either that or I'm really hungry.
Well, I got to
Very
tell
good.
you, it's true. I mean, if you go to the Bass Museum, starting from just the architecture, it's the only building where the whole building is done in coral stone or limestone, which is, extinct. You can't do that anymore. And the Collins Park, which really, it was awarded and is part of the Bass Museum, is gorgeous. And the creative thought behind it, like Sylvia is saying, using the environment, the cultural colleagues that are here. I mean, I've seen you do some wonderful things in the last 4 years that I've been very involved in the arts. It's not a long time, but it's definitely able for me to see the difference among other institutions. I mean, you've been doing great with the community and with the Bass.
Thank you, Susana. That's very nice of you to say that. Speaking of lots of audiences, I want to point out our exhibition that we have right now. It's called From Picasso to Koons, the Artist as Jeweler. So that really applies to anybody, from very young to very old, to people from different countries, because it's basically fine artists that we know, like Picasso and Koons and Wilfredo Lam and Miro and Warhol, that design jewelry. Who would have known that? Right. So when somebody comes in who's maybe not as art savvy, they love it. There's lots of bling and there's lots of gold and there's lots of luscious, just to pick another good word.
Right,
maybe you're hungry.
Well, you sounds like you're depicting Da Vinci, because Da Vinci was a great artist, but at the same time he developed jewelry, he developed a machine gun. I mean,
exactly.
I think a lot of people, when there is it right or left brain, which part of the brain is art? You girls would know that. Is it left or right side?
It's right, but I lose a little bit of left. I don't know what percentages, but something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So whatever people have that that ability, then it also shifts over to other creative abilities.
Well, these are wonderful creative people. So it's not like they're shut down only to paint, only to do this. Their minds keep going all the time. So when you walk in and you see all these little sculptures, because that's really what the ring or the pin or the necklace turns into, little sculptures, you're really wowed by it. And then the people who know a lot about art, their reactions are, really? I didn't know Ilya and Amelia Kabakov made a bracelet.
Wow, that's wild. I didn't know either. And let me tell you, did some of them start as small maquettes or something for a larger scale canvas or sculpture?
No. These are straight on,
jewelry.
Made to be jewelry.
Wow.
Yes.
See, I didn't know that. When you mentioned Picasso, I was thinking maybe his daughter, because I just didn't think of that. And, I was at the Gary Nader and I was seeing all the vases that Picasso did a couple of weeks ago. And I have to tell you, it's interesting to see this show, and I would love to go see it myself. I wasn't informed till now, and I'm so happy that you're saying that. How long does the show go, and what are the hours of the Bass Museum?
The Bass Museum is open from Wednesday through Sunday, 12 noon to 5. And now for the summer, sort of as a test run, so we hope to see lots of people, we're going to open Fridays all the way through until 9 p.m. So whether it's your date night or whether you're taking a break and going out to dinner, run by the Bass and just pop in even for 10 minutes, because you're going to see a lot of good things.
And the Friday night, is it like a music, jazz, performance installation? Or is it part of the ticket of the museum?
We have a whole calendar. So look online in our website. We have jazz for a few nights every week, or not every week, almost every week. We have Beats, which is our happy hour that occurs once a month. And then on those off Fridays, we have lectures, we have artist performances, artist talks, a whole bag of goodies. So you can I don't know the exact date, so look online.
What's the website that they would look online?
www.bassmuseum.org.
That's fabulous. And any number that our viewers can also call?
Sure, it's 305-673-7530.
Now, what I have to ask you, what was one of your favorite exhibitions that you brought, or actually, I have to say, the collection you brought that the Bass has, the only museum in South Florida, or I think probably in many states, which is your Egyptian collection.
I'll talk about that because choosing an exhibition for me in the past 3 years is like choosing a child. So that's hard for me to select one. But I will talk about it. We have the only Egyptian gallery, who would have known? The only Egyptian gallery in all the state of Florida. So for those of you who don't want to or cannot get on a plane to go see an Egyptian mummy and Egyptian artifacts, just drive over to Collins Avenue and 21st.
That's really good to know. I happen to be fascinated with Egypt. My brother just got back from Egypt, in fact. It is an incredible place, and you're right. Not very many of us get a chance to get over there.
And I have to tell you, they went beyond. They actually took one of the mummies and they took it to Mount Sinai to do a CAT scan to see how the facial, the year, the birth, and they go into that. And so you can really go beyond and know the age of the gentleman that you're seeing these bones, and you could tell that how he passed away, and all that is there, which really goes into depth, and it's an amazing collection. Your educational department, Adrienne, is fabulous. She does a great job in talking and curating about that. And I have to tell you, I am so proud to see a woman, a Latina woman, to run and curate all these awards under your belt. I mean, the passion and commitment and the education, you've raised the bar. You're now part of also the James L. Knights Foundation, which I think that's exciting. I've joined a few applications there out of 1,700, I think. So get ready for next year. But where do you see yourself, and what do you want to see for the vision of the Bass?
You know, there's so much yet to be done, and I think with all of us in all our institutions and in Miami in general. Miami's such an exciting place right now because we are creating, we're not maintaining. We're building buildings, we're adding additions, we're creating programs. So we're at this point where so much creativity is going on everywhere, in every single institution. I'm particularly excited about the fact that we're going to be 50 next year. So that's 50, we're going to be 50. So should we say 50 and fabulous? I don't know what slogan we're going to use. Yeah. But we have a lot of work to do in order to be fabulous next year. Yeah.
Is there a cost to go to the museum, or is it
$8?
$8.
Yes.
$8.
So, folks, it's the cheapest date in town, folks.
And actually, this month is Museum Month, isn't it?
It is. So we have lots of specials. You buy one ticket, you get a ticket to another museum. But I also want to add, which is very important for us, for Family Days, which is the last Sunday of the month, we are free to the public. That's very important.
Very nice.
That's very important, and I commend you on your wonderful position and what you're doing and all your achievements and awards. I know there'll be many more added to the list. And thank you so much, Silvia, for being part of the Bass Museum. Go out there, guys. Go to their website. They do great lectures. Friday nights is going to be fabulous. TheArtExperiences.com will feature a special evening on Fridays for the Bass Museum. I'm going to create something for all my listeners and give everyone 50% off for the Bass Museum South Beach tour. Thank you, Silvia.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for being on the show. And folks, so listen up. This Sunday is the last Sunday, so get your booty over to the Bass Museum. All right, we'll be right back after the short commercial.